Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Chapter 25, The Glories of Devotional Service, Text 19. Na yujjamanaya bhaktya bhagavati akhilatmani sadrisho asti shivaha pantha yoginam brahma siddhaye. Na yujyamanaya bhakta bhagavat akhilatmani sadrishosti shivo pantha yoginang brahma siddhaye. Na yujyamanaya bhaktya Bhagavat akhilatmani sadrishosti shiva pantha yoginang brahma siddhaye. Na yujyamanaya bhaktya Bhagavat akhilatmani sadrishosti shiva pantha yoginang brahma siddhaye. Na, not, yujyamanaya, being performed, bhaktya, devotional service, Bhagavati, towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Akhilatmani, the Super Soul, Sadrishaha, like, Asti, there is, Shivaha, auspicious, Pantha, path, Yoginam, of the yogis, Brahma Siddhaye, for perfection in self-realization. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Perfection in self-realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi unless he engages in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for that is the only auspicious path. Please repeat after me. Perfection in self-realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi unless he engages in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For that is the only auspicious path. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. That knowledge and renunciation are never perfect unless joined by devotional service is explicitly explained here. Na yujyamanaya means without being dovetailed. When there is devotional service, then the question is, where is to offer the service? Devotional service is to be offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Super Soul of everything. For that is the only reliable path of self-realization or Brahman realization. The word Brahma Siddhaya means to understand oneself to be different from matter, to understand oneself to be Brahman. The Vedic words are Aham Brahmasmi, The Vedic words are Aham Brahmasmi. Brahma Siddhi means that one should know that he is not matter. He is a pure soul. There are different kinds of yogis, but every yogi is supposed to engage in self-realization or Brahman realization. It is clearly stated here that unless one is fully engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot have easy approach to the path of Brahma Siddhi. In the beginning of the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that when one engages himself in devotional service of Vasudeva, spiritual knowledge and renunciation of the material world automatically become manifest. Thus, a devotee does not have to try separately for renunciation or knowledge. Devotional service itself is so powerful that by one's service attitude, everything is revealed. It is stated here, Shivaha Pantha. This is the only auspicious path for self-realization. The path of devotional service is the most confidential means for attaining Brahman realization. That perfection in Brahman realization is attained through the auspicious path of devotional service indicates that the so-called Brahman realization or realization of the Brahma Jyoti effulgence is not the Brahma Siddhi. Beyond that Brahma Jyoti, there is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the Upanishads, a devotee prays to the Lord to kindly put aside the effulgence, Brahma Jyoti, so that the devotee may see within the Brahma Jyoti the actual eternal form of the Lord. Unless one attains realization of the transcendental form of the Lord, there is no question of bhakti. I'll repeat this sentence. Unless one attains realization of the transcendental form of the Lord, there is no question of bhakti. Bhakti necessitates the existence of the recipient of devotional service and the devotee who renders devotional service. Brahma Siddhi through devotional service is realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The understanding of the effulgent rays of the body of the Supreme Lord is one of the perfect stages of Brahma Siddhi or Brahman realization. Nor is the realization of the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Person is perfect. For Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Akhilatma. He is the Super Soul. One who realizes the Supreme Personality realizes the other features, namely the Paramatma feature and the Brahman feature, and that total realization is Brahma Siddhi. Na yujyamanaya bhakta bhagavat akhilatmani shadrishosti shivo pantha yoginang brahma siddhaye. Perfection in self-realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi unless he engages in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For that is the only auspicious path. So, this chapter is dealing with the glories of devotional service as it has been presented by Kapila Dev to his mother. Step by step he is taking us to the highest platform of devotional service. Welcome Radhachan Prabhu. And so the scientific understanding is a gradual development of or gradual revelation of facts. Like we learn step by step. Everything we learn step by step. Like when we learn English language, how did we learn? We first learn the alphabets. And then we go higher into that aspect of knowledge. First we learn the alphabet, then we learn the words. B-A-T bat, C-A-T cat. Then we learn grammar. Then we learned how to structure the sentences. And in this way our knowledge developed. And here also we are saying how systematically Kapil Dev is presenting the process of devotional service. Like it all started with his mother asking a simple question, how to become free from the bondage of the material nature. And gradually Kapil Dev revealed that how a living entity becomes entangled in the material nature, or how a living entity exists in two stages. One is in a bound stage or conditioned stage, and the other is liberated stage. So the bound stage is bound. How is one bound in this material nature? To bind, what do you need? You need a rope. And everyone is bound in this material nature with 3 ropes. A golden rope, a silver rope, and an iron rope. Those 3 different types of ropes are known as gunas. Actually, Sanskrit, the word guna the words guna have 2 connotations. One meaning of the guna is quality. And the other meaning of the word guna is rope. Rassi. So, in this way, living entities are tied down to the material nature with the ropes or with the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And whether it's goodness or whether it's passion, whether it's ignorance, it's a rope, it's a cause of our bondage. The phone করে দেবে এই জেনারেটরটা চালিয়ে দিতে ক্লাসের সময় যদি বন্ধ হয়ে যায় জেনারেটর চালিয়ে so this is what the material nature is like. So Kapil Dev explained that there are 2 stages. One is a imprisoned stage, and the other is liberated stage, a free stage. When one is affected by the 3 modes of material nature, he is bound or he is conditioned. And when he is not bound, when he is free from the influence of the modes of material nature, then he is in a liberated state. Liberated means at that time nothing is affecting him. Nothing is obstructing his freedom. He is free to do anything he wants. Liberated stage actually means that he is free to do anything he wants. And conditioned stage is that his activities are restricted. He can do only certain things in a certain way. And what is the way? The way is very simple. As you act, you will get the result. You act in a certain way, you are producing the result. And then you are subjected to suffer or enjoy the result. So this suffering and enjoyment of your previous action is the bondage. We are tied down to the material nature. As we are acting, accordingly we are getting the results of our actions. Why is it? Why is it so? Because to be in the material nature means to act for our own sake. We are acting for our own sake, for our own pleasure. That means we are acting to enjoy or suffer the results. When I act for myself, that is the conditioning of the material nature. When I act for myself, then I am responsible to the reaction of those actions. But the free state means when you are acting on behalf of Krishna. When you act on behalf of Krishna or for the sake of Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna, then we are free to do whatever we want. Then there is no restriction. Nothing is actually stopping us from our actions. That is the meaning of being free, being liberated. Why? Because we are not doing anything for ourselves. At that stage, a devotee simply does everything for the sake of Krishna's pleasure. And because Krishna is the supreme proprietor, everything can be done for Krishna's pleasure. That is the freedom that one experiences in the spiritual sky. And then, in this verse, he is actually pointing out, anyway, maybe we can just briefly, what actually happens when one becomes liberated? Then the soul can see himself to be transcendental to the material existence. And always that self is self-effulgent and never separated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although he is minute in size. That is the liberated state. He is with the Lord. He is with the Lord, experiencing all the wonderful spiritual experiences with the Lord, acquiring the qualities of the Lord. But he is doing it in a minute way. He is minute. And at that time, he practices, he becomes situated in knowledge and renunciation. Knowledge means knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his spiritual reality, and he is detached from material nature. That is the meaning of Jnana and Vairagya. Awareness of the Supreme Lord and detachment from material nature. And in today's verse, it has been pointed out that that stage of liberation can be achieved. The self-realization can be achieved only through devotional service, not through any other process. All the other processes are yoga, other processes are trying to link one with the Lord, like karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga, raja yoga. There are so many different types of yogas. But without bhakti, they are not yogas. That's the main point. Karma, when karma becomes karma yoga, is any karma, is karma yoga? So many people are working so hard from morning till night. But are those people karma yogis? Will anybody situated in proper knowledge, call them karma yogis? No. Everyone is working so hard actually. From morning till night, you go, like you'll see, the houses are empty. Everyone is working. Husband is working, wife is working, children are working, everyone is working. So they are working, they are doing karma, but are they karma yogis? Why not? What makes a karma or action karma yoga? Yes. When the karma is performed, but the result is offered to Krishna, that is called karma yoga. So, when Krishna is the object of karma, then it is karma yoga. Right? Which means karma plus bhakti is karma yoga. Karma plus bhakti is karma yoga. Similarly, jnana. There are so many institutions of acquiring knowledge. Do we call them jnana yogis? The university, so many students, they are studying, working so hard. In the colleges, there are so many students. In the schools, there are so many students. They all are endeavoring to acquire jnana, knowledge. But can we call them jnana yogis? Why not? Because bhakti part is missing. When jnana is blended with bhakti, then it is jnana yoga. Nowadays, meditation has become so popular, especially in the West. But do we call them dhyana yogis? No, why not? Because that dhyana is not meant or not mixed with bhakti. So that is the point that he is making here. Bhaktya. Na jujyamanaya bhakta. If it is not performed with devotional service, the perfection of spiritual perfection or perfection of self-realization cannot be attained. Na jujyamanaya bhakta. Na jujyamanaya cannot be attained without bhakti. So there are different types of processes, different types of practices. And they must be executed for the pleasure of Krishna, or for the sake of serving Krishna, or in order to abide by Krishna's instructions. That is actually the service to Krishna. On the other hand, we see that how any action, anything that we do can become devotional service. For example, Arjuna is fighting a battle. It's a very ghastly battle, very difficult battle. Like he had to kill his grandfather, who loved him so dearly and whom he loved so dearly. Can you even think of somebody whom you love to even slap him? Can you think of doing that? Somebody whom you love to hit him? But here not a slap, not to hit, not just a hit, but to kill. That is what Arjuna had to do, and he had to eventually do that. He had to kill Bhishma. But it is devotional service. Why? Because it's for Krishna's pleasure. Krishna's pleasure means Krishna wanted him to fight. Arjuna was not fighting for his sake. Arjuna was fighting for Krishna's sake. Krishna told him, Arjuna told at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, we have seen before the war actually began, Arjuna didn't want to fight. He dropped the bow and arrow. And he says, Na yotsa iti Govinda. that Govinda, I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to fight this battle. So that is what Arjun's situation. But then, what do we find at the end? This is the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. Arjun dropped the bow and arrow. And what is the end? What at the end of Bhagavad Gita, what do we see? Arjun is admitting, Nashta moha smriti labdha tat prasadat maya achyuta. That by your mercy, your prasada, Krishna Achyuta, my moha has been removed. My moha has been destroyed. Nashta moha. Smriti labdha. I have regained my memory. That means now I know what I need to do. And sthito asmi gata sandeha. All my doubts are now dispelled. Karishye vachanantava. I will do whatever you ask me to do. So this is devotional service. Karishye vachanantava. Krishna has given so many instructions in Bhagavad Gita. To act according to those instructions is devotional service. Like we can begin, we can see what is the goal of human life, what should be done in the human life, in the human form of life. Annad bhavanti bhutani, parjannad anna sambhava, jagyat bhavati parjanna, jagga karma samudbhava. So very systematically Krishna is saying, in order to survive, you need food. Right? And how the food is generated, how the food is produced? Because of the rain. Why the rain is produced? Because of Yajna. And therefore, everyone must perform Yajna. This is one of the initial instructions. And then we find in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is telling, of all the yajnas, I am japo yajnasmi. Of all the yajnas, I am chanting the holy name. So what you have been asked to do? To perform the sacrifice, the best kind of sacrifice, japo yajnasmi. Then Krishna is saying, man mana bhava, with your mind you think of me. Krishna is giving so many different instructions. With your man mana bhavo mad bhakto mad jaji man namaskuru. That is Krishna's simple instruction. And how to please Krishna? Jat karosi jadasnasi jat juhosi dadasi jat japat jat tapushoshi konteya tat kurusha madarta. See how systematically Krishna is giving the instruction. Whatever you do, even whatever you eat, whatever you offer in sacrifice, whatever you give in charity, do it for me. Tat kurusha madarpanam. Offer them to me. Do it for my sake. Or do it as an offering to me. You have to act on my behalf. Act for my sake. You have to eat. Okay, first offer the food to me. And then Krishna's demands are not very much. Krishna is making such simple conditions. Patrang pushpang phalang toyam jome bhakta prajachyati. Well, you are a poor man or you are a miser, you don't want to spend money on my sake. Okay, fine, offer me some fruits, some leaves. But make sure that leaf is tulasi leaf. But if you don't have anything, then you can also offer some leaf to Krishna. Krishna will take it. Some leaf, patrang, pushpam, some flowers, phalam, some fruits. toyam, some water, even some water. If you don't have anything to offer, just offer some water to Krishna. But how to offer? Bhakti uparhitam ashnami. I will accept it. Offer it with bhakti, I'll accept it. And then finally Krishna is giving the instruction, the final instruction, the most important of all the instructions. Sarva dharman parittajya mamekam sharanam vraja. You are a very good person, you are very nicely situated in the path of dharma, but don't worry, give up all those dharma. You are a very good Hindu, you don't have to become a Hindu, just surrender unto me. You are a very good Muslim, you don't have to be a Muslim, you surrender unto me. You are a Christian, you are a Jew, or you are a very good social worker, you are a very big politician, you are a very good big businessman. Sarva dharman, all that dharmas that you have, sarva dharman parittajya. You are a very good lawyer. Sarva dharman parittajya mam ekam sharanam. Just surrender unto me. So that is the final word. Surrender unto me. And this surrender is actually bhakti. Without surrender there cannot be bhakti. Surrender. Surrender to Krishna, but surrendering to Krishna is difficult. Therefore, surrender through Krishna's devotees. Krishna has made this process himself. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Krishna is giving the assurance not directly but through his devotee, so that people can understand that it is through the devotee that he'll have to approach him. Those who think that they are my devotees, they are not my devotees. Those who are my devotees, they are my actual devotees. Now why is that? Why is that? Because that is the way Krishna has designed it. Spiritual sky is far, far away. We can't approach the spiritual sky ourselves. Therefore, Krishna's agent is here. Make your approach through him. Krishna's agents are here. Make your approach through him. Prabhupada gives so many beautiful examples in that respect. One very beautiful example in that respect is a letterbox. You wrote a letter meant to go to America. The letter is meant to be delivered in America. But in the street corner, there's a red little box. You put the letter in there, in that letter box, and in course of time the letter will reach America. One may say, well, this is just a static box here. Now how is it going to deliver? Had it been at least a motor car, I could have dropped the letter there. I could have rest in peace that maybe that car will take the letter to America. But it's just one little red box standing, never moves from there. Now how is this letter going to deliver? How is my letter going to be delivered in America? But the system is there. Nowadays, do they have letterbox anymore? I don't see them like we used to. I remember when we were young, in every street corner, they used to be in our street, I remember there were 2 letterboxes. One in the middle, one in the end, and the other one's in and there used to be a time written in a white piece of paper, 3:30. So that means at 3:30 the letter will be cleared. The letters will be cleared. So postman would come and he would open the thing and take all the letters, and then what he would do? He would deposit it to the post office. And in post office they will sort it out. Like some letters are for Delhi, some letters are for India, and some letters are for abroad. So they'll go into two different departments. And those who are meant for foreign countries, they'll be sorted out. Some are for Europe, some are for America, some are for Australia, and so forth. So just as the postal system has this arrangement, Krishna also has this arrangement. And that arrangement is the process, is the disciplic succession. That is the authoritative criteria. Disciplic succession. There are 4 channels. Brahma's channel, Lakshmi's channel, Lord Shiva's channel, and 4 Kumara's channels. Brahma, Shri, Rudra, and Kumar Sampradaya. These are 4 sampradayas. And there is a link. And through that link, through the link of the disciplic succession, yes, the appeal or the letter will reach Krishna. Your message will reach Krishna. You are surrendering to the representative of Krishna through the disciplic succession. And what is actually happening when you are surrendering to a disciplic succession? You are getting the teachings of the disciplic succession. That is how you are getting to know Krishna. That is the meaning of the disciplic succession. Unbroken chain of informations. Those informations are there from the beginning of creation. Krishna gave this knowledge to Lakshmi. Krishna gave this knowledge to Brahma. Shankarshan gave the knowledge to the Kumaras. And also Shankarshan gave the knowledge to Lord Shiva. So this is how the disciplic successions have been established. Through Krishna, through Narayan, through Shankarshan. And this knowledge is being transmitted throughout the world even today. Although time has passed, so many years, so many millions, so many billions, so many zillions of years have gone by, but the knowledge is still available. In some cases, the knowledge has become even more magnified. Just in case of Brahma Madhva Gauriya Sampradaya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and gave something which was not given before. So, the distance is not making the knowledge obscure, but the distance is making the knowledge enhanced. And in this respect, one very beautiful example is that a telescope. With your naked eyes, you cannot see the distant luminaries. The stars and planets, they are far, far away. Many stars and planets. How do you see them? Through the telescope. What is there in the telescope? Lenses. What are the lenses doing? They are enhancing, they are magnifying the object. And more the lenses, more powerful is the telescope. Normally, if something is between my eye and the object, it will obscure my vision. But what are the lenses and telescope doing? They're enhancing my vision. And that is the meaning of the disciplic succession being the transparent via medium. They're not only transparent, they're enhancing. So such a wonderful process, but it must be practiced in a proper way. And what is the secret? The secret is bhaktya, devotional service. Without bhakti, it won't work. And what the disciplic successions are reminding us, become a devotee of Krishna. Become a bhakta. Become a devotee of Krishna, then everything will become clear. Now, this bhakti aspect we can think of in two ways. One is that bhakti is the license to be in somebody's house. You can, there is a very rich man, if you want to stay in his house, in his big palace, what do you have to do? You have to either become his friend, or you have to be submissive to him, you have to serve him. If you become his servant, then the rich man will be very happy with you and ask you, come and stay with me. If you can please the person by your service, then that very rich man will allow you to stay in his house. And in his house, when you are in his house, you can actually enjoy the way he is enjoying. You can live in this palace, you can eat the delicious food that he is eating. Only consideration is that you have to become submissive to him. You have to serve him. And so this is the criteria. And this it's although it may begin with service, but the relationship may develop. You may get promoted. That rich man, say if the rich man doesn't have any heir, any successor, and he likes you, you have been so good to him, then he says, look, you become my son. I will accept you as my adopted son. I'll adopt you as my son. And now, by being adopted by the rich man's son, you inherit his property. Although your consideration was that how can I live in the rich man's house, and now the rich man is giving you all his wealth, all his property. Or that rich man can say that, look, I am so lonely. I need some friends. So you become my friend. So in this way, the rich man can award you all kinds of wonderful situations which will enable you to stay with him in a most wonderful way. So bhakti actually means that. To develop a favorable relationship with Krishna. He is not only the rich man, he is the richest of all people. He is not only a king, but he is the king of kings. So that is the main consideration for being allowed to stay in certain favorable situation. You have to be submissive to the owner of that property. Now here who we are talking about? We are talking about Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Another way to look at bhakti is like you want to go to some country. Now you may have your own jet. to fly. Or you may have your own ship. Or you can even row a boat and go there. Will you be able to stay there? Why not? Because you don't have a visa. Without a visa, you won't be allowed to enter into that country. What is the visa? Visa is the approval by that nation, by that country, that would allow you to stay there. So all different processes may be the process that would take us to the spiritual sky. But bhakti is the visa. Unless you have the visa given by the authority of that country, you won't be allowed to enter into that country. So that's why always it has been pointed out, bhaktya tu anannaya shakya. Bhakta mam abhijanati. Bhaktosi me sakhachiti rahusam hi etuduttam. And here also the same word, bhakta. Na jujyamanaya bhakta bhagavat akhilatmani sadrishosti shivo pantha yogina brahma siddhai. Therefore, those who are properly situated in knowledge, we will adopt this process of bhakti in order to develop one's really loving relationship with Krishna, and in order to be able to reside with Krishna in the spiritual sky, in order to be favorably disposed towards Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande. Does anybody? Yes?
Well, you have mentioned that there are 4 different channels of disciplic success. Prabhupada belongs to which of these channels? Number 1 question. Number 2 question is, where are the other 3 channels?
Yeah, very good. You see, Prabhupada's line is Brahma Sampradaya, the knowledge that was given to Brahma at the beginning of creation by Krishna. And in this line, Madhvacharya came. You see, due to the influence of Kali, these sampradayas became contaminated. The knowledge became lost. So Madhvacharya revived that sampradaya. Just as Krishna through Arjun revived in Bhagavad Gita the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And then about 500 years ago, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and accepted the same sampradaya. Therefore this sampradaya is known as Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya sampradaya. Other sampradayas are like Lakshmi sampradaya is Sri sampradaya, which is very prominent in South India. Srirangam. That is the main center, Sri sampradaya. Then Rudra sampradaya is Nimbargacharya. Just as Madhvacharya revived the Brahma sampradaya, Nimbargacharya revived the Kumar sampradaya. And then there is Rudra sampradaya, the sampradaya of Lord Shiva. This sampradaya was revived by Vishnu Swami. So this is how the 4 sampradayas are prevalent.
Where are these 2 sampradayas?
They're everywhere, but the general seat for that, Nimbarga sampradayas, they are quite prominent in Vrindavan. And Vishnu Swami, I don't know really. They are in holy places, they have their seats. But these 2 sampradaya, Madhva sampradaya and Sri sampradaya, they are predominantly in South India. They are very prominent in South India. But they are in other places also. Like Sri sampradaya have their temples in Vrindavan also. like in just a replica of Sri Rangam temple next to Gopinath Bazaar. So they are everywhere. You go to Jagannath Puri, you will find they have their sampradaya.
So in their philosophy also Krishna consciousness.
Their bhakti, all four sampradayas are bhakti, but they may not be directly worshipping Krishna. Like Sri Sampradaya is worshipping Narayan. Mahaprabhu used to joke with Venkat Bhatta when Mahaprabhu was in South India. Like, your Lakshmi, she is the Patibrata Shiromani. But why she is running after Krishna? So in this way, he was pointing out that, like the prominence of Krishna above Narayan. And then eventually, they were actually, Venkat Bhatta's son is Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who became one of the Goswamis of Vrindavan. So this is how, this is the uniqueness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's gift. The destination of other four sampradayas is Vaikuntha. They don't have access to Vrindavan. It is only through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that one can enter into Vrindavan. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also accepted two aspects of these four sampradayas into his teaching. His presentation accepted two aspects of each sampradaya. Like from Ramanuja Sampradaya, he took the deity worship and service. In this way, I don't remember, like from different sampradayas he has taken. Yes, Jamuna Priya?
I have a question for one line of the translation. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Whereas in the translation there was a line that, which you repeated, unless one attains realization of the transcendental form of the Lord, there is no question of bhakti. So Maharaj, is that referring to Raghunath?
This particular verse?
Yes.
I see, okay.
You
Yeah,
that.
I'll just read. Perfection in self-realization cannot be attained by any kind of yogi unless he engages in devotional service of Supreme Personality of Godhead. For that is the only auspicious path.
Yes, sorry, my mistake. It was in the purport actually.
In the purport, yeah.
One line in the purport which you repeated, which said that unless one attains realization of the transcendental form of the Lord, there is no question of bhakti.
Yeah, right.
That is Raghunath.
No, I mean, to any bhakti, you have to accept the form of the Lord. Unless you accept him as a person, where is the question of bhakti?
I was confused, Maharaj, because it said unless one attains realization of the transcendental form. So what does that mean?
That accepting that the Lord is a person, that he is a form, then only comes the question of service. You can't serve Brahma Jyoti, right? Can you serve the light bulbs? So that's the point. Yes. I see. Well, Yat Karosi, whatever you're doing, do it either directly or indirectly for Krishna. Like in your case, maybe you can say that you cannot do it directly for Krishna, but you can indirectly do it by, say, why you're working. You're working to get why you're teaching. to get some money. So you can give a part of your income to Krishna. That is how you can. Or, like in school, when you're serving in school, but the other times that you have, you can do something for Krishna. Even in school, you can teach the students, the glory of Krishna consciousness. You can preach to the teachers. So this is how you can take advantage of that situation and serve Krishna. Right? Yes, Archana?
You spoke about the two ways of seeing bhakti. And the first one, it was like motivated attitude that in the beginning he wanted just to be in the house. But by through service, he became developed, he surrendered. But the second one is already other qualities. How can the second?
Did I mention about two ways or
Yes, two ways of bhakti.
two ways of bhakti?
The first example was the one who just wants to live in the house.
Okay, no, the two examples that I gave in that respect is like you develop a relationship with the person, the lord of the house, and that way you are allowed to stay in the palace of that person. Right? If you want to stay with a very, there's a very rich man and you are attracted to stay in his house, then the way to do it is through developing a relationship with him. Actually, these are the examples I was giving. The two examples in that respect of bhakti. And the other one is going to a country without having the visa. In order to go to the country, you have to have the visa. No matter whoever you are. Even though you may have, your own plane, still, to enter into the country, you need a visa. So that visa is the approval. And that approval can be obtained only by devotional service, when it comes to spiritual context. Okay, thank you all very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Gaur Premanandi.